Three, two, one.
What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, March 14th, 2019. I think this is an important Bitcoin video. I'm just going to throw that out there. Before I jump into the charts, before I talk about this bullish potential that lies ahead for Bitcoin, and I have some really solid context for you in regards to that. I'm not just doing a hype video, but before I do this, before I say this, before I show this, I want to throw this out there. This video is not financial advice. I'm not sitting here saying that this is going to happen. I'm providing you the data. Please do not listen to YouTubers in terms of making your financial decisions. That is completely up to you, how you want to handle your portfolio. But here's the data. And I am kind of in this waiting period myself of bullishness. But let's jump into the charts and talk about this. We have Bitcoin, right? Since that swing low in mid-December has really, in simple terms, has created an ascending triangle. You see it on the screen. Many people are talking about it. Within this ascending triangle, there is another bullish pattern, an inverse head and shoulders right here. We see it on the screen. But what I really want to talk about in context to this ascending triangle, this bullish pattern, is back in last spring into this past November when we got that big break below $6,000. I want to talk about that in terms of what's going on right now with this ascending triangle. I talked about it briefly, but I really want to give you a really solid illustration. So this is a descending triangle, the inverse of the bullish pattern happening down here, an ascending triangle, just to throw that out there. So the breakdown was kind of to be anticipated, right? This is a bearish formation here, and we got a break at the bottom of the triangle, and we even hit our target almost exactly down here, the height of that ascending triangle, right? So that happened. Now, what we see though, at the time where we broke below the bottom range of that ascending triangle, Bitcoin was seeing resistance at the 50 EMA. Now, likewise, in this ascending triangle, right now, Bitcoin is seeing support. And let me try and, zoom in on this a little bit for you. Bitcoin is seeing support at the 50 EMA, right? And a bullish break on this bullish pattern would be to the upside, right? The inverse of that descending triangle, the bearish pattern that we had before. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to take that bearish pattern, and I keep saying it's the inverse of our current bullish pattern, but what does that look like? So what I did is I took a snapshot of this pattern right here, and I flipped it, right? And this is what it looks like flipped. It looks almost identical to an ascending triangle, right? We have higher lows. We have a resistance area up here, which we're getting right now at around $4,000. But here are our higher lows that we have. And remember, this is actually the flipped version when we were above $6,000. And look what we see. Since it's flipped, this was the resistance we saw at the 50 EMA, but now that it's flipped, it is support. And look what happened. Since it's an ascending triangle, the inverse of the descending triangle, we got a break to the upside, right? Ignore the red candles because that definitely wouldn't make sense. So you see how these ascending triangles, descending triangles play out. Do they always 100%, if it's a bullish pattern, go bullish? No, absolutely not. But historically, if you track the data of charts, they definitely more than 50% probably do break bullish, right? So that's why it's considered a bullish pattern. And that's why so many people anticipate these patterns, because oftentimes they will break to the upside. And on the flip side, a descending triangle will break to the downside. And this is exactly what it looks like, right? The $6,000 break. It's why we were anticipating further downside for Bitcoin. We were ready for it. So I want to throw this out there. For Bitcoin right now, if we get continued support above the 50 EMA right here, similar to how we got continued resistance leading into the apex of that descending triangle, if we get continued support into the apex of this ascending triangle, yes, a break to the upside is highly possible. What does that look like? Our target, similar to the target for the downside descending triangle, the heights at the beginning of that triangle, right here going up to around $5,400. Interestingly enough, we'd be breaking the 200 EMA on the daily, but we'd also be coming into this longer term trend line if you drag it out from that previous descending triangle. Really interesting area right here that I'd be very keen to track, right? So if we do end up a bullish move into this triangle right here, if we're trading somewhere in here, for me personally, this isn't for everybody, this is for me. If we are at this area, right, anywhere in here, this will, for me, kind of start determining that actual bull market that everybody wants. And so if we break this resistance, if we break out of this area, and yes, above $6,000, then I feel like we can start having a more bullish conversation. We have a long ways to go. First things first, this bullish triangle needs to break to the upside. But I really wanted to do a video showing you, first off, a couple patterns and how they work, how they play out. But also, I really thought it was interesting, the inverse of that descending triangle, the similarities. If you look at the charts right now, it is like almost identical if you look at how it's playing out. So very interesting to me. Wanted to share it with you. Let me know your thoughts. Wanted to keep this video brief. There it is. I hope you're doing well out there. If you're here right now and you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as part of the channel. I will see you in the next video. Have a great day and God bless.